welcome back to my channel. Oh my god. Oh, I just broke my shoulder. Can you guys see that? There's like a weird shadow going on. Okay. Hello, my fellow earthlings. I don't know how to wink. Why do I always try and wink? I don't know how. So today we are doing something kind of fun and different. Now we know that we can gather a whole bunch of information based off of our birth chart, but did you know we can also find out what you look like based off of your zodiac sign? Your rising sign, aka your ascendant, is going to reveal what you look like. So this is physical traits that you have, but also your persona and just kind of like your vibe. So your clothing, the way you put yourself together. The rising sign, aka the ascendant, is going to be the most accurate. If you want to find out your rising sign, you do need to have an accurate birth time because rising signs will change every 2 hours. Your sun sign will also probably play a part in the way that you look. I definitely noticed that rising sign is the most accurate, but typically people's sun sign also plays a part in it. We're gonna go through all 12 signs, and obviously genes are a thing. So that's actually what I find to be most interesting about this, is that people that really actually don't look anything alike, people that are different ethnicities, you will still find these similar traits in their physical appearance. So I think it's really interesting. This video is obviously just for fun. I'm gonna put timestamps in the comments so you could just click on yours, but definitely look at the signs of people that you're close to. You'll probably get a good laugh over how accurate this actually is. Okay, my windows are making a really weird situation on my face. Whatever, this is happening. This is what we're doing. Starting with Aries. So one of the things that Aries has is a really great smile, and Aries tends to have a bigger build. That is not supposed to be an insult. That does not mean like overweight, nothing like that, but they do just tend to have a more like sturdy, bigger build. They do tend to be muscular, larger or rounder foreheads, which I can relate to that, Aries, because I feel like I have a really big forehead. And even though they do have like a very confident, maybe almost even like intimidating build to their body, they usually have pretty innocent looking faces. Aries will also have pretty distinct eyebrows. So whether that means you have really nice eyebrows or really bushy eyebrows, the eyebrows on an Aries rising tend to just stick out and be a very solid focal point on the face. Now, Aries also tends to have darker hues. So for some Aries, this is gonna be tan skin. A lot of Aries do have a tan complexion, but even if that is not the case, let's say that you are blonde and you have fair skin and you have blue eyes, you will probably have blonde hair that is like a little bit more darker blonde, a dirtier blonde. Your eyes, if they're blue, they might be a really deep, dark blue. Even if your skin is fair, you may have more of like a red or orange undertone to your skin. Your eyes may have gold in them or hues of red. And I don't mean red like devil eyes, but just like that really pretty like auburn, gold, orangey type of tint to them. Aries does tend to have a bit more of a sporty way of dressing, a bit more casual. Even if they get dressed up, it looks a little more just like effortless and a little more sporty and just like, I threw this on and I look good. And Aries is usually pretty unique in their own way, and that is something you kind of find with all of the fire signs. I do find a lot of Aries have a lot of tattoos or are into tattoos because they do just have a more like in-your-face way of expressing themselves. So Gemini are known for having very, very expressive facial features. Gemini is also known to have pretty quirky or unique facial features. So there might be like one facial feature that just like sticks out and is like different but is quirky and unique and kind of like makes them them and something that you kind of like remember them by. Gemini also tends to be a little bit taller, and they're kind of known to have more of like a supermodel type of body. And what I mean by that is lanky arms, lanky legs, and very slender. One of the things I notice about Gemini with their eyes is that Geminis either have really like piercing eyes, so think Kristen Stewart's, she is a Gemini rising, or they have like baby doll eyes, but they always have expressive eyes. So they could be like smaller, skinny eyes, but that are piercing, or they have that like baby doll look to them, those big eyes. Gemini are also known for having pretty hands. Gemini is also a bit of a risk taker when it comes to fashion, and that's because they are so unique and quirky. So Gemini might have their own sense of style, even if it isn't like very out of the box and different. It's very unique to them. They'll have kind of like a signature style, if you will, that maybe wouldn't be very like noticeable if somebody else wore it, but when a Gemini does it, it's like, oh, you would wear that. That's very you. Taurus. So Taurus is known to have sensual lips. They also usually have a square or oval face and usually a smaller nose. One of Taurus' signature physical traits is their hair. So they will have, first of all, shiny hair. I can't think of a single Taurus I know that doesn't have good hair. Shiny hair, thick hair, hair with a lot of body. And speaking of body, their body is usually pretty proportionate. With Taurus being an earth sign, I just think of them as being like very well put together. And you see that in their sense of fashion. They are very well put together. So they'll have like a really cute dress with like a unique hat and the perfect boot to go with it. They do like earthy tones. So these people look really great in greens and neutral colors, shades of brown, gold, and they're usually drawn towards those colors. Taurus also have pretty strong and dominant features, but they also look very soft and gentle at the same time. So Taurus is a very put together type of image. Taurus always look good. They are also very effortless. So they will put on a really cute outfit and you'll be like, why didn't I think to put that on? And why does it look like they rolled out of bed and they look that good? That is very Taurus. Very earthy and natural, but very, very stylish. Taurus is a very stylish sign. Cancer. So one of Cancer's most famous traits is that they tend to look a lot younger than they are. Cancers also do have smaller mouths usually, but they will have like a pouty lip. So they will have full lips, but just a smaller mouth. And something that is really cute about Cancer, they tend to have a moon-shaped face. And it's almost kind of hard to explain. If you just like Google, I don't know, like Cancer celebrities, you'll see what I mean. Think Ariana Grande. She is a Cancer and she definitely looks like one. I don't know what her rising is, but I probably wouldn't even be surprised if it was Cancer. Now, Cancer tends to be pretty into their appearance. So they will have a cute outfit. They will have their makeup done because they like to feel good and looking good is part of that process for Cancer. Thin hair. Cancer does tend to have thinner hair. They are directly related to the moon and feminine energy and motherhood. They do tend to have curvy hips. They do tend to be small people, and that kind of plays into them looking younger than they are. Everything about Cancer is usually just pretty small. They will have soft features, small little button noses, and they will wear or be drawn to a lot of white, black, a lot of shades rather than color. And if they are into color, it will usually be ocean-like tones. So a seafoam green or a really pretty light blue. Leo. Leo cracks me up because their physical features are, it's just always so true. Without a doubt, the number one trait that every Leo has, Leo is known for their hair. And that's obviously not surprising if we are thinking of a lion's mane. So Leo will tend to have thick hair. They will be able to grow their hair really long. They will have just like the most beautiful, shiny hair. So even if they're a guy, you know, their hair is very prominent. It will be shiny. It will be styled well. It will be, you know, full and look really, really good. Something else about Leo is they do tend to have larger heads. They have big heads, no offense, but they do, which they need if they're gonna hold all of those beautiful locks of hair anyways. So Leo is a very royal and regal sign. So even if a Leo is not like dressed to the nines, just the way that they present themselves does come off as very confident and just very royal in a weird way. They just always look good. Leos always look good. Like naturally, effortlessly look good. No makeup, they look good. They are usually taller, but if they're not taller, they are well built, and Leos tend to have broad shoulders. Again, that is pretty lion-like. The tops of their body is usually bigger than the bottom. Again, very lion-like. They can be showy in their outfits, so they will wear a lot of jewelry. They also tend to have nice teeth, and their demeanor is very energetic and very, very confident. So Leos are, in my opinion, pretty easy to spot, and especially if you have a sun and rising in Leo. If you meet somebody that is a sun rising in Leo, just get over the fact that you're never going to look better than them. They are always going to be on point. Virgo. So Virgo is the sign that kind of appears the preppiest. So Virgo is pretty simplistic. Virgo is also usually very health conscious. So these people will be slender. They will usually be tall, especially if they are a male. They will have kind of like an elegant look to the way that they dress, but also very simplistic. And the look on a Virgo's face, their facial expressions naturally always kind of look like very serious and very sure of themselves. They just are like, yeah, I'm here. It is common that you will see a Virgo with their hair kind of pulled away from their face. They are, like I said, pretty simplistic. They kind of have a pure look to them. They're usually drawn to and they look really good in neutral colors, but they also look really good in patterns. So kind of think of that like preppy pattern type of vibe. They will always look very practical and very put together. So another sign that usually looks pretty effortlessly, if they're not preppy, they might be more kind of like looking a little more athletic in the way that they dress. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but they are usually slender because they are very health conscious. So they will kind of come off as like radiating wellness. They'll just look very together and you're kind of like, this person goes for a run at 5 a.m, like that type of vibe. Libra. So Libra rising is probably the sign that I would say appears to be the most materialistic or obsessed with appearance. So Libra's all about aesthetic and symmetry. Libras will be dressed really well. They're usually always very into fashion. They will look like they took time to get ready for the day. So they will have their makeup done, their hair done. They will have a nice outfit on. Libra also tends to have pleasant facial expressions. So they're usually not terrible to look at. And that is because they do care a lot about the way that they look. They have a very charming demeanor. They usually have an oval face, and you'll just be able to tell by looking at them that they carefully chose their outfit and that they really put time into their appearance, and it's something you'll kind of like appreciate about a Libra. They tend to have a harmonious, symmetrical face and also just body. Libra can come off as being almost like a little ditzy. I don't mean that in any offense. They get mistaken as just being like appearance obsessed, like not having as much depth as maybe some of the other signs, but that is definitely just like a stereotype based off of the way that they look. Probably one of the biggest ways to tell a Libra rising or just a Libra in general is that they are so friendly to the point where they are a people pleaser. So that's almost more of a giveaway than the way that they look at all. Scorpio. So if you are a Scorpio rising, Scorpio to me is the most obvious sign because Scorpio has such dominant and intense features. So the first thing about Scorpio is their eyes. They have these piercing, mysterious, very sexy eyes. And this is a known fact about Scorpio. They also usually have really nice eyebrows. So a really nice shape to their eyebrow. They will have like a very nice arch to their eyebrow. I notice this in Scorpio men all the time. Sometimes I'll like look at a Scorpio and be like, do they get their eyebrows done or are they just that lucky? They also have a very serious and intense, almost kind of like sobering look to them, which adds to their mysterious demeanor. They have very sharp features, so a Scorpio will have a really nice jawline, really nice ears even. Scorpio will also have hooded eyes, and they usually have sexy lips. So I think by this point we have come to the agreement that Scorpio is a very sexy sign, but that is not surprising because every sign rules a different part of the body, and Scorpio does actually rule the sex organs. They will also sometimes have just like no facial expression whatsoever. So that's kind of going back to the sobering look that I was talking about. They will usually have a nice build. They're usually pretty strong and will have nice shoulders. But probably the most obvious thing, aside from the eyes when it comes to a Scorpio, is that they look and come across as being intimidating and powerful and very serious. Sagittarius. So Sagittarius are usually tall, and their mouths and their lips kind of always look like they're smiling. Very like an inviting set of lips, if you will. They have a very energetic demeanor, so here we have another fire sign, and Sagittarius is very spontaneous and outgoing, and you can really pick up on that energy when they are just in the room. They tend to be drawn to or look the best in reds, oranges, yellows, and they have a kind of like hop in their step. So again, with the energetic demeanor. So Sagittarius rising can be a bit extravagant, and they can definitely be kind of drawn to the limelight, especially from a young age. So you may see some eccentric outfits, or not even eccentric, but just something that's a little more loud and like, hello, I'm here, that type of vibe. They kind of look horse-like. They have nice legs, they are slender, they usually have really nice hair, long hair. A lot of Sagittarius are even blonde or like a strawberry blonde. You will see a Sagittarius in sportswear, but fashionable sportswear. Sportswear with an edge. Capricorn. So the part of the body that Capricorn rules is the joints and the bones. Capricorn tend to be thin. A Capricorn rising tends to be thin, and they tend to have very sharp facial features. They tend to be kind of bony. They'll have thin, long noses. They usually have dark hair, and their hair will usually be a little thinner. So in men, their beards may come in a bit thinner. They also have very defined cheekbones. Now, when it comes to a Capricorn's vibe and their demeanor, they are known to come off a bit cold or aloof and unapproachable. They are an earth sign that does tend to be a little bit more disconnected from their emotions on the surface. Deep down, they have deep emotions, but they don't show that very often. And their style, Capricorn is all about career and work. And so a Capricorn rising, their style will usually be pretty conservative. They tend to go for quality over things that are trendy. So sometimes the Capricorn style can even be just very business-like. Capricorns mean business in every aspect of their lives. But you can really see a true Capricorn rising's physical appearance in their face. Their features are just so sharp and defined. Dark eyes, dark eyelashes, dark eyebrows. Being an earth sign, they are also drawn to those earthy tones, so a lot of browns and dark greens. Aquarius. So Aquarius rising, what I'm gonna say about them is that they literally look like mermaids, which is not surprising. They're the water bearer. Lindsay Lohan, Christina Aguilera, they are Aquarius rising. So they just have that aquatic, kind of dreamy, mystical type of look to them, I guess. Now, Aquarius are usually slim, they are usually tall. Aquarius is also very innovative, so it's not uncommon to see an Aquarius in kind of an unusual type of style, or a style that is just very much them. And what is interesting is that they'll either be like very unusual looking or like very, very minimalistic and simplistic. Think of just like a black turtleneck. Simple, but it's like they make it look so good. They usually have very sparkling eyes. So again, think Christina Aguilera. You know what I mean? She has those eyes that you're just like, are they like wet? Are they dripping in diamonds? And they will usually have more of a serious type of facial expression, especially men. So Aquarius rising men, I definitely notice, are the bit more minimalistic, serious looking, but they can also be very eccentric. They are usually drawn to hues of blue, darker blue, anything watery, and they are quirky for sure. Quirky, and they have their own original style. So Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, something that we know about Pisces is that they take on traits of all 12 signs, or all of the other 11 signs. So Pisces can actually be probably the trickiest to identify because they are mutable. So they can kind of like just change, and they do change a lot. So Pisces can be a little hard to nail down, but they are usually artsy. Something about their vibe and their clothing comes off as being artsy. They usually have beautiful, beautiful eyes that you can get lost in. So they will have like dark blue, dark green eyes of very like ocean-like color. They are also drawn to purple. And I guess the one trait about Pisces that is kind of always true is, again, their eyes. So the way that they look at you will be either very fixated and almost like hypnotic, or they will have eyes that seem to move slow. So there's a very hypnotic way to a Pisces eyes, and just the way that they look at you, you can get lost in their eyes. They usually have bright and inviting smiles, and they do usually have wider lips as well. And I notice this a lot in Pisces rising. They will have really full lips, but just like wide lips. They do have a soulful type of demeanor to them, whether it's the way that they talk and carry themselves, the way they express themselves, the way that they dress. But they're also chameleons and very unique, and it is hard to tie down the look of a Pisces, but it's definitely in the eyes where it totally gives it away. Pisces does have a very gentle and kind looking face. They look like somebody that you just feel comfortable talking to. What is probably the most obvious giveaway of a Pisces, the fact that you will find yourself questioning if they are on planet Earth or on another planet. They are very dreamy in every aspect of their life, the way they think, the way they talk, the way they act. But they definitely appear as very approachable. What's more obvious about a Pisces is not so much the way they look, but it's the energy that they give off. They are very empathic, so they're very much just easy to talk to, and you feel very safe around them. So Pisces energy is a lot more telling than the way that they look. The way that they look can be a bit of a mystery, very different depending on the person. So that wraps it up for all 12 signs, describing what you look like based off of your rising and your sun sign. Let me know if you look like your sign. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you have an amazing day. I will see you in my next video. Bye.